Welcome to episode number 11 of the Making Moves podcast, where we talk relocating and real estate in the Dominican Republic. If you're looking to move to the Dominican Republic, this podcast is for you. If you're looking to make moves in real estate in the Dominican Republic, this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Josie Sells DR, and before we get into today's guest, I just want to take a minute to appreciate this backdrop. We are filming today's episode at the newly listed Villa Shangri-La, which is located in the most luxurious community on the North Coast, Seahorse Ranch. This 7-bedroom, 7-bathroom estate sits on over 5,500 square meters and over an acre of oceanfront land. As you can see, like, the views here are just breathtaking. The energy in this home is like, you can just like feel the energy from the ocean as soon as you walk through the doors. So stunning. You can find the listing on our website at Realtor DR to find out more information. All right, now let's get into this podcast. I'm really excited to introduce today's guest. Everybody, this is the William Ramos. Ramos? Yes. And this guy is honestly living the dream. Probably everybody's dream. He travels the world as a traveler, never a tourist. I love how that's in like your Instagram bio. And he just emerges himself in the culture, films his experiences along the way, and has impressively built himself a social media following of over 600,000 people. So, William, thank you so much for having me here today and for taking the time to sit down with me. This is our first time meeting, so I'm just really excited to learn more about you and your story. And yeah, if you can just give us the lowdown on who you are, and I know you're Dominican, but give us a little background about you.
It's my pleasure to share all these stories with you and your audience. And yes, my name is William Ramos. I'm from Dominican Republic, even that I don't look like. A lot of people believe like, oh, are you from Spain? Are you from the States? But no, I'm 100% Dominican.
Love it.
And yes, I built a company called Siempre Viajero, that when you translate it to English, it means like being a traveler, not a tourist. Because
Awesome.
we start like our main goal was like offering the people the authenticity of the Dominican Republic. Like, when the people come to Dominican Republic, what we offer to them through our agencies, like experiences with local people, like getting to know like the authenticity of the places that is not only the tourist places, live the way the people live here too, try to eat the food as a local people.
Yes.
You know, and discover like this way of being of the Dominican Republic people that is, I think, our best thing. Like,
yes.
When you ask someone like, why are you coming back again to Dominican Republic? It's not only because our beautiful beaches, our beautiful places that of course we have it, but it's most of the time because of the way the people are.
I agree.
Now the Dominican people is very happy, very friendly, and that's what we were trying to show to the people through our agency called Siempre Viajero.
Amazing. So people can just go onto your website and book like a Dominican cultured experience tour.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Usually we have like a lot of services. One of them is like renting villas, like places like this one, selling properties, but at the same time offering tours, excursions, like with local people and trying to see way beyond like the beaten path, as we can say it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. And your roots are still in Santo Domingo. When you're not traveling, you're still here in the DR?
Yeah, we have like our company based in Santo Domingo, but we have like a lot of tour guides distributed in the whole island.
Amazing.
You know, like our country is very popular because of the all-inclusive resorts, like for example, in Punta Cana, that you have like all these hotels, which is amazing. But we have been focusing way beyond that, you know. What we want is that the people experience all the country, all these different spots, like small rivers, waterfalls, all these hidden beaches, all these properties, you know. And that's our main goal, actually.
Awesome. There is so much land here that is just like untouched, and there's all these amazing little hidden spots. So the fact that you can show people that is really cool.
Even for me, that a lot of people ask me, like, oh, did you know the whole country? And I say, no, it's impossible. Like, it seems to be a small island, but there is a lot of places, like virgin places, that is really authentic.
Yes. Okay, what was it like growing up in the DR? What was it like growing up here?
It's an interesting question, and I will say living in the Dominican Republic show you like a lot of true things about life, like this simple way of the Dominican Republic of being like that you realize that you don't need a lot of things to be happy. I think that's one of the main things that you learn when you're born here. Like this contact with the people, like this contact with the nature, with the essence. Like I think for me it has been like a good school, like a good university.
Cool.
So that question for me, the right answer will be like this essence with the simplicity, with getting happy with few things.
Gratitude, just having gratitude.
Rather than only the material things, like trying to understand that the life is it's more only the materialistic. Like there's a lot of things like the human touch.
Yeah.
I think that's something important that you learn when you're born here, that you have been when you were a kid, that you were like free, talking to everyone, playing sports in every places. Like it's something really beautiful.
Amazing. I love that answer. It's funny because a lot of the times I'll like call a client who's in, New York or somewhere in the States, and I'm like, why do you want to, invest in the Dominican Republic? And they're like, I was born in the Dominican Republic. I'm Dominican. And, they leave, they go to the States and they're raised there, but they always find their way back here, which is really cool.
Yeah, like in the Dominican Republic, we have a lot of Dominican people who has, because maybe for economical situation, they have to move to the States or other developed countries. But I believe that's a point that is really interesting, because these people, they are in the States because of the economical things, but their mind is always in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
So,
and I'm sure from the time they left, 20 plus years ago to now, the amount of development and change that's happened in the DR, they're seeing that it is a livable place.
I agree.
And it's an amazing place to invest and live. So it's bringing them back to their home roots.
It's a country that is growing, that we can see, and a lot of aspect is really growing. Like we have a lot of optimistic view, we trust a lot. We have seen it also in a political way that you can see the security is getting better, And usually what happens is that most of the time when you see the news, they only put the bad news.
Oh, I know.
That's not the essence of the country.
No.
It's something interesting that I have that question a lot, like, is it safe, the country? I always tell, wow, I've been living my whole life here, and when you go to the small towns or the suburbs, you can see the way the people are, they're always really, really friendly. So you don't see that kind of things in the news, but of course, that's the thing that grab the attention, of the media, but that's not the Dominican Republic.
I
That's
agree.
something interesting to let the people know.
I agree. I've never felt unsafe here.
That's true.
Ever.
That's true.
Okay, so you've done a lot of traveling. I've been creeping your YouTube, your Instagram, your social media. How many countries have you been to in the last 10 years since you started your YouTube channel?
Wow, that's an interesting question, because my perception and my vision is that I try not to count how many countries.
Okay.
What I try to do is to have a real value of the specific country or the specific city that I visit.
Okay.
But of course, I can let you know that I have been in, a privilege because of the places that I have been. Like I can mention, for example, countries that have changed my life a lot. Like, for example, I can mention India, I can mention Thailand, Vietnam, the eastern side of Europe, countries like the Balkanic countries like Croatia, Bosnia, these places that is not usually the tourist places,
right.
the places that the people say, oh, let's go to this place.
Right.
But it has been teaching me a lot, teaching me about the diversity, the religion, the food. And I think all these things that I have learned visiting those countries is the thing that I try to explain or imitate here in the Dominican Republic.
Right, I love that.
This type of visit, when you travel to these countries, your mind gets really, really open, and you start to see that the life it's way beyond your bubble.
Yes.
You're living in a small island like this one. You're living in a special bubble.
Yes. And it's important to go to those places with an open mind and with no expectations, because as soon as you have an expectation of what a place is supposed to be like, that's when you're disappointed. But if you go there with an open mind and you really just immerse yourself in the culture and take it for what it is, that's when you find the beauty.
That's when I start like doing that slogan that I say, never a tourist, always a traveler.
Yeah.
It's something that I make like as a joke, but what I try to do is because when I start doing this travel, I used to have my backpack and go there by myself, you know,
Right.
like the typical hitchhiking, sleeping in hotels.
I
like,
love it.
You know, like this type of hostels that you have like shared bedrooms. And
Yeah, like a
things
hostel,
that.
yeah.
Like hostels,
Yeah.
exactly. So all these experiences were like, you know, getting a point and you know, going into my mind and saying like, oh, there's a lot of diversity in this world, and I think it becomes more human being. Like it helps you to grow that human feeling. You know?
Totally, 100%. Okay, so when you're not traveling, you're rooted here. You told me that in Santo Domingo. That's where your business is based out of. What sets the DR apart from other countries that you've visited in terms of like livability? How like livable it is here to come here, to, you know, buy a house here, to move your family here, move your entire life here. What sets the DR apart from other countries in the world?
Well, I think the prices are pretty interesting to consider. And you know, like after the pandemic, we have like this digital nomads that have been this community that has been growing, all these technological people who are searching maybe for a place that they feel safe, that they have like a lot of things to do. And I think the Dominican Republic has like a lot of potential for welcoming all these people. You know, like I have been visiting places like Mexico, Costa Rica, and I see there's specific regions that are growing with this kind of people that can work like remotely.
Yeah.
So I think the Dominican Republic has a lot of potential for these kind of things because you have so many things to do. Like for example, look your example. You're from Canada, but you're living here like for 3 years, and you tell me, oh my God, I feel like this is my country. I feel really safe. I love it. I like the way the people are, and that welcoming of the people here, that warmth of the people. Of course, the weather. That's something we have to mention. We have like 365 days of this sun, as the people can see behind us. Like. Those are privileged that when you're living like in Canada or in the States with the cold in winter, you say, oh my God, that will be really awesome for me being in the Caribbean without shirt, working on my computer.
If you can work online, why would you work in the cold, right?
Exactly. So I think there's so many subjects, so many topics that we have here that, wow, it has a lot of potential.
Awesome. I agree. What do you love about the North Coast, about Cabarete, Sosua, this area?
You know, this area for me is very special because when I born from a city that is really close from here.
Right.
You know, this region in Dominican Republic is called El Cibao. That's like a Taino word. You know, from our ancestors.
El Cibao?
Cibao.
Cibao.
Yeah, that means like the land of rocks.
Cool.
In the Taino region, language, let's say like that. So I was in college in a city called Santiago. That is like the second capital. We can call it like that. And it was really common for us during the weekend come to Cabarete, because by that time here in Cabarete there was a lot of parties. Well, we still have it, of course. Yeah. And I was like a lot in the way of the surf, you know, like kite surf, all this stuff. So I have like a lot of friends who lives in Puerto Plata, that is the biggest city close to where we are right now in Cabarete. So it was really funny because we used to come all the weekends here. We met a lot of people, and it was like an interesting mix because you can see the North Coast not as tourist as Punta Cana, but you have like a mix of the local people with the tourists.
That's why I love
it's not like really, really packed, you know, like here you can see that you have like a lot of beach that you can go, that you're gonna meet people from outside, but at the same time you have that experience of the local people. Yeah. So for me, and of course that I work a lot in my YouTube videos, like searching for people that not a lot of people know. Yeah. Here there's a lot of things. For example, here in Cabarete you have like to the people who like the anthropology side, you have like the caves of Cabarete.
I know. I didn't even know those existed. They're just right off down the Cajon.
Exactly. Yes. There's a lot of places here in Cabarete that people who lives in Cabarete
don't even know. Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. You have like a lot of cenotes. You have like a lot of course, the activities of like kite surf, windsurf, all these sports, aquatic sports.
Even the river, like I took my friends to La Boca and we paddleboarded to the ocean.
La Boca River,
my
that's
favorite
famous
things.
too. Yes. And all this anthropology side of, you know, the Taino culture that we have, like sometimes Dominican Republic, the people from Dominican Republic, they don't know we have that potential.
Right.
There's a lot of people from outside that they want to discover of these kind of things because these people have like a lot of wisdom, you know, like, and that's over there. They're still alive, those caves with the pictography things, you know, with the paintings that they leave. That's something that I really passionate about too.
Cool.
And it's something that we can explore a little bit, you know, like in the touristic way.
Yeah, and we have the mountains up here, which is so nice. A lot of the other areas of the island are more
A lot
flat.
of rivers, a lot of waterfalls,
Yeah.
beautiful
So
like,
lush.
rivers with this color. You know, like an interesting story that I remember. Near here, there's a place called Hamao, Hamao Norte.
See.
That you have like those rivers that are like canyons. And one funny story is like in the 90s, Bill Gates visited that place.
Okay.
And I know local people who were there with Bill Gates, but of course they don't know that we're Bill Gates.
Right.
They have no idea.
They had no idea.
So it was funny.
It's another gringo.
Yeah, when you see like a guy like Bill Gates was over there on those rivers, that has a special meaning. That means it's a special place. But we don't know about these kind of things. Right now, you know, there's like let's say a lot of people is trying to explore those kind of tourism, like the adventure tourism through the rivers and all this stuff, and it's getting grow, but it's still developing.
Yes.
You know, it's still developing.
I agree. Okay, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is looking to, somebody who's looking to travel here for the first time, someone who's looking to relocate here, to move here, and someone who's looking to invest here?
Well, the first thing that I can say to that people who wants to travel here is forget all this bad news that usually they show in the medias and the international television, right? I always tell the people in the Dominican Republic, all the people are good. There's more people good than bad, so feel safe to come here and travel on your own.
Okay.
Because you know, like the people has this vision of, oh, if I go to Dominican Republic, I had to get stuck in the hotel all-inclusive. I cannot go out because something dangerous can happen.
Right.
Of course, you can go to the all-inclusive resorts. That's a nice experience too. But at the same time, if you want to explore, like my advice is leave the authenticity of the Dominican Republic. Like that's when you're gonna learn about this country. When you're thinking and invest, it's a really good place, as we were mentioned before. Like this kind of people that is working remotely, it's a perfect thing to do. It's something really, really special to do because of the weather, the people, all these things that we have been talking.
And the cost is still so
and in
affordable.
The North Coast,
compared
of course, it's a place interesting because what we were explaining, that it's not developed as Punta Cana, so it has a lot of places, a lot of potential to see.
Yes.
You know? So I think like it's a really good time to invest at the same time because you can see there's a lot of places that it haven't been discovered. Like there's a lot of opportunities. I can see it right here. So
yes. And
so
for someone who's considering moving here and relocating here full time, what would you tell them?
Amazing place. Also, if you realize, for example, I have one of my good friends that used to live in other countries. He just moved here, and he was telling me like one of the reasons that he moved specifically in Sosua, you know, here in the North Coast, is because they have like a really good school, like an international school.
They do.
So if you're moving here, you have children, and you're thinking about this, they have good education here too.
They do.
So you have like all the things covered. You have like a hospital, you have education system. So there's no reason for not saying no.
And a really good community. Like the North Coast has the highest concentration of foreigners and expats.
Yes.
So you have a really good community of people.
That's right.
Here.
And also, you know, another interesting topic. A lot of people who is into meditation and all this holistic way, like in the wellness center, let's say in the wellness focus, there's a lot of opportunities here too. Like here you can see specifically in Cabarete a lot of yoga retreatments and all this stuff of wellness.
Yep.
So that's another thing to consider.
Yes. Amazing. Good answer. Okay. And how do you see the real estate market in the DR evolving in the next 10 years?
The real estate market in
the DR, how do you see it changing in the next 10 years?
It's growing a lot. You can see like a lot of Airbnbs actually. I think it's and the right time I can see it's now because the thing is getting pricey, you know, like. But there's still now like a lot of projects that are starting, you know, like a lot of people who knows about the construction is having like a really good opportunity right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good way. So investing now, you can see like a really interesting result in 10 years. Probably the price that you pay for a land now is gonna get like really high in 10 years. So,
even where I live in Encuentro, 2 years ago it was $90 a square meter for a piece of land. Now it's $175. In 2 years it's doubled.
Every year is getting grow. Yeah. Every year is getting grow for sure.
Okay, and a few more questions I want to ask you is what are you the most passionate about in the world? Like what gets you out of bed in the morning?
Wow, that's an interesting question because I will say, and that's a philosophical question actually.
Yeah.
But I think like one of my vision is always to serve. It's always to serve. My passion has been always like traveling. My passion has always been like in a familiar situation. The experience that we are living, for example, in this house today is like my mother's birthday.
Oh, today?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh,
yesterday. It was her birthday.
Aww.
So we're staying in this place celebrating her life.
Yeah, your whole family's here. That's amazing.
And my whole family is here. Like this feeling of having our family unified is something that it's really important for me. But at the same time, my passion that we have been developing through the agency is this feeling of traveling but getting to know the local culture.
Yes.
Because I believe there is a wisdom over there, not only Dominican Republic, but all the places that you have the privilege to visit, there's always something interesting to learn.
Amazing.
And I think that one of the things that is moving me, as you say, in the morning.
Gets you out of bed in the morning,
Like serving other people, helping other people. Because I believe always in this karma situation that all the things that you can give the same way you're gonna receive it. So
absolutely.
I have like this vision of life of
amazing.
Of serving.
I love it. No, that's amazing. Okay, where are you going? What are your goals, dreams for the next 10 years of your life?
I would say that the goal will be keep doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. You know, like I feel like really honored, really privileged of all the support that we have been given in our company. All the content that we have been creating for the people to serve, to show the people like the beauty of the country, show the people all this experience that they can live the same way that we are living right now. Because one of the things that I like of my content is trying to be the more organic as possible.
Yeah.
So that was why I was explaining you, this is the weekend of my mother's birthday.
Yes.
So for me, it's like really important to show the property, show the amenities of all these places, all the beautiful places of the North Coast, but at the same time, leave it by myself with my family, you know? And I will say a really interesting goal will be like keep doing this same thing for many years. And we never know, maybe I can end up buying this property like this
10 years from now, you'll own this house. That's the goal. Okay, bonus question, last question. If you had to eat one Dominican food for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
Wow.
Sancocho?
Probably will be sancocho.
Really?
Because you know, we have like the rice and beans and meat.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it's something that we usually eat every day.
Yeah.
The Dominican people. But sancocho is really special because we put a lot of things over there in the sancocho. Because
it's so
the sancocho, the people who is listening, is like a soup. Right? But that soup, you can put rice, you can put avocado.
Yeah, you mix it up.
You can put plantains, and you can put different meats. And for me, it's something that represents, like the sancocho represents the Dominican Republic.
I agree.
So, and the interesting thing is that you can eat the sancocho during the night with a cold, but during the day with warm weather.
Yes.
You know, like it's a soup that is hot, but the people eat it.
I know. I always thought it was so funny that like the national dish was a soup when we're on an island. But
that's true. That's true. It's something crazy.
It's so good though.
Special in our country.
Okay, sancocho. If you come to the DR, you got to have sancocho. It's part of the whole cultural experience.
Of course, definitely.
Amazing. So thank you so much. That's all I got. Is there anything else you want to say to our listeners or followers or?
Well, I would say that welcome to Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Like, remember the Dominican Republic, most of the people, everything here is good. The people is gonna receive you with a warm hug. They're gonna receive you with a nice smile.
Yeah.
And I think that's the essence of the Dominican Republic. Forget everything that you can listen over there. Here is a really, really interesting experience to live when you visit this country.
Yes.
And if you're thinking to move here, that's the best advice that you can have.
Yes.
So, welcome here always in the Dominican Republic.
Thank you, William. Thank you so much for your time and for sitting down with me. I always say, like, my quote is life's a movie. That's my thing. And like,
Great.
you are like the perfect example of that. So your YouTube, all your videos, everything you create is inspiring and amazing. And where can people follow you? What's your
Yeah, they can look in Instagram, they can look William Ramos TV.
Okay.
And also the company, it's called Siempre Viajero RD.
Okay.
We have also our website, siempreviajero.com.
Amazing. We'll put it in the description of this
People
episode.
if they want to live an experience like a private tours and things like that, we can do that. Book some villas also, and transportation, we can do all the things. Like
Great.
We make like packages
Yeah.
for the tourists. Like once they get to the airport, we can work with them
It's
and we can show all this experience that we show in our YouTube channel, that also they can subscribe and they can see a lot of things to do in the Dominican Republic.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next week in the next episode. Adios.